Thank you. All right, I will call to order the May 8th Fairfield Golf Commission meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's take a quick attendance of the commission. This is Steve Varian, Peter Secret,
Christine Hogan,
Peter Grace,
Bob Biganet,
Priscilla Schultz.
And who's on the phone?
Mike Feinstein.
Great. Liam, are you on?
Not yet.
All right. All right, good. Let's start with the minutes from the last meeting. Prue sent them out earlier. Any comments, revisions, anything?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. I think that's everybody.
Aye.
Oh, hey, Liam.
Where is he?
All
there
right. Start with the reports. Bob, Mr. Biganet.
Hello, everyone. Everything seems to be going well up at Smith. As you saw in the April numbers, were good, despite the rain we got at the end. I jinxed it, right, Pete? I said we were on pace for my best month, but it didn't quite happen.
2 rainy weekends in a row.
Yeah,
but the weekend too.
We were really great, but that's okay. That's a good sign that demand is still strong. I do hear very often that I can't get a tee time. It's still going on, but it is democratic. It's a good problem, I guess, for us. The new tee markers, like I said, they're in transit. So by this weekend, we should have the new tee markers out there and the new scorecards in play. The ball machine is here. We're just waiting for purchasing to finish up the merchant agreement contract, and then we should be operational with that. And then I'd like to just say the spring junior programs are completely sold out and a total success. We have 120 different juniors across the board, which is really great. That's about it for me.
All right. Any questions for Bob?
So you closed the course during that rain, that whole day?
One day we lost completely, yeah.
But I saw so many people closed their golf courses.
Yeah, it was a lot of rain.
Yeah, it couldn't drain.
I played on one of the rainy days, and I waited until the afternoon when it was lightening up, and I forget, I was talking to somebody, and they said there were people on the first tee down for teeing off.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is terrible.
A river running through the middle of the 11th green.
We played that last Sunday.
Sunday was okay.
And for some reason, we got it in. When we got to the parking lot, it started raining.
Yeah, 12 or 1.
But we made it. Yeah, it was.
Then at 4.
Yep. And everybody else was out there. I mean, it wasn't like the course was empty by any stretch of the imagination.
Never.
Right. No, it's never empty.
Good. Well, I'll jump off of on Bob's. Anthony's not here, but, I was emailing him. Basically, it's the same thing we were talking about. The numbers are really strong despite the weather. Everything looks good. When you look at these numbers, particularly year over year, month over month, it's, golf is doing very well. So, strong numbers.
Do you think that Anthony was a little worried about the mix?
Yeah.
But what I saw, it seems to be getting a little better.
It
Do you
did.
agree?
Yeah. I don't know what to do about that.
I don't either.
Yeah, but yes. I still think it's not the ideal mix, but other than giving out-of-towners more rights, I don't know what we're doing, and we don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do
And I
that.
think, so I was trying to figure this out too, because I think, so we're down a little bit in resident IDs, and I think, I was asking a question, if you're a resident, you don't have ID, you plop into the non-resident category. So I don't know if we're dealing with a little bit of that, but I think it's too early to kind of tell. I think it's for short.
I'd like to weigh in. I personally think it's the efficiency of the 4-up system has changed the mix. I really don't think the timing change is the issue, because we went from a 4-hour window difference to a day difference. But when you look at
for the non-resident people.
But when you look at when the tee times are being booked,
Yeah.
4 hours, 1 hour, 5 minutes is too much.
So they don't have a shot.
Yeah.
No, there's no
And then I think it's because the 4-up's so much better than the old one.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
They go fast.
I don't think if we went back to the old thing, it's gonna change the mix.
Yeah.
But if you change the, timing of when non-residents could get a time, you could change the mix.
Well, I think what he's saying, which I agree with, is as long as there's a gap,
Yes.
then it won't change.
Oh, that's what you said.
That's what I'm saying, because if you look at, like, I can run a timestamp report that shows when the tea times are booked,
Yeah.
and they're on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's all gone within 20 seconds.
Yeah, you give the 5 minutes of.
Yeah, that's the point. I don't think the day difference is the change. I
And
think
then why do
the
you
efficiency
think,
of 4-up.
so why do you think we have less non-resident play?
Because there's
Because
too
we have
many
more
residents.
They can't get,
Right, you can't get a tea time.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Residents can't get a tea
But
time,
before they
non-residents.
couldn't either, like, that,
It was, well, the
you know
old
what I mean?
system was
Like,
a
go
little
back
hokey.
3 years ago.
Right, but I agree with Bob, the Vermont system was a little bit different, and I
It wasn't
agree
as
with,
efficient.
I agree with the efficiency of the 4-up,
That
and
makes
so I
perfect
think
sense.
that people aren't having a hard, when they get.
Hey, Bob,
a hard time
sorry,
actually-
Bob, have you heard that feedback from
Yeah.
non-residents, at the course itself, that they are having a hard time getting, getting times online?
I think it's always been challenging for them anyway. It's not a technology thing, it's just that in my opinion, the 4-up is so good that the residents are getting the time.
But no complaints, that's what he's asking.
Oh, no, I hear complaints from a lot of people that they can't get teachers.
Yeah, I hear from residents, I don't hear from
Yeah,
non-residents. Right, I don't hear from non-residents. And I tell them, that's not my concern.
Yeah, I know, my friends, I can't get a tea time, I'm like,
Yeah,
you
so
don't live
right,
here.
right, I can't get a tea time.
Yeah, we can't get a tea time.
Trust me. I get people call and say, you want me to get a tea time?
Yeah, really.
You got Paul.
Boy, wouldn't that be nice as a perk, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
golf
We all get,
commission,
like,
yeah.
Guaranteed tea time on the weekend or something?
Someone even said, I guess there's a course up in Massachusetts that they sell tea time. Have you heard of
They
that?
do it in Milford, Orange.
They
sell
do.
a tea time?
Well,
Is it
so
like
you'll
an
give
auction?
them $1,500 to have 9 o'clock all summer.
Oh, all summer.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Really?
Yeah, it's out there.
Wow, that's the first I've heard of
Yeah,
that.
me too.
I think that's a really slippery slope.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not like that.
Yeah.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even I was doing well with the sun alone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, secondary market.
Yeah, that's what they're showing.
Okay, all right. How's the course looking?
It's got some blemishes out there we're still working on. We've done a lot of hard work, and after the last meeting, I had to scramble to get the irrigation up, and now, after all this rain, I'm looking at a drainage problem. So it's, it's just, so, we got, nothing really to report. We're just working hard, trying to keep the place in good shape and keep moving forward.
Good. Yeah, the new tees are looking good.
Couple of divots on them, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. But everything looks good on there, though? There's no issue with the sod or anything like that? Everything's good?
Just
You're
on the
able to get your
apron
tee
of
markers in?
17.
Yeah.
What's that?
The apron on 17.
Oh, yeah, that's because we put it down when it's hot.
Exactly.
We're trying to bring it back. It'll come back eventually.
Oh, it will. Oh, wow.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It's going to aerify it. and
You're
see
more
that.
optimistic than I am, yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of work to still be done out there, and we're trying to get it done.
Are we doing anything about, sort of like communicating picture divots?
Yeah, we have it on the
Green
carts and my starters,
Yeah.
are supposed to be doing.
I know no one pays attention.
No, but you can never stop.
Yeah.
Well, like I put signs up saying no carts, and they'll just run them right over. So,
But
it's all the signs you want up there. There's something else we got to move.
Yeah.
I think the culture's pretty good at Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't improve it, but the course is, all I'm hearing about the course is that it's fantastic.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's in good shape. I would say, particularly with all the rain and stuff, I thought it kind of weathered it well. So.
Yeah, I just, again, I've been in too many sand traps, but a lot of people still do not rake the sand traps.
Yeah.
That's frustrating, yeah. And I don't know, you're right, I don't know what the answer is.
Happens everywhere.
Yeah. So, and we have enough rakes in all the sands, right?
Yeah.
We have a couple of rakes in each sand
Well,
trap.
I got plenty more. But then again, you set up our board, that's something else we got to move, and
Right.
it's just
Right,
from my perspective, it's just another thing to move and get out of the way so you can cut and whatever you
right,
have to do.
that's, yep.
All right. Anything else here?
Well, Green's report, course looks great, very happy with it, happy with the new tees, your guys did a wonderful job with them. I like how even they are, flat for the most part when they can be flat, so, The only thing I would like, and I know we talked about this last year, is putting some type of bell or something on a few of the fairways where they're blind shots. So, 11.
Did we get that?
Can you guys still hear us?
11 to 6.
6, 11, and 18, I think?
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess 18 you could put.
yeah.
Well, 6 is even more dangerous now because we're right there.
Right.
The
And
problem-
11 also,
Yeah.
11 also, but it's where we end up.
Yeah.
And so then, the guys, I mean, will
The guys,
hit into
we're
us.
now, if you tee off them on the top of the hill now, you don't need a bell, because you can.
No, but 11, we ran into a problem.
Yeah, I can see you running into a problem on 11.
Yeah.
We've talked
And then
about this in the
18.
past, so the problem is people won't do it or they won't use it correctly, and then you get up there and you don't hear, or we get up there and we don't hear the bell, and we don't know what to do because people are ignoring it and people are waiting for the bell. And so then it becomes this problem of, if people use it and use it correctly, great system.
Right.
The second they ignore it, it throws everything out the window.
No, that's a fair point, but I'd hate not to try it.
Fairfield
What-
Wheelers is the wheels are
Yeah,
a couple
I
better.
try to use them, you know.
But a lot of people don't even
Yeah.
know they're there, so they
That's what
don't
I'm
use
saying.
them.
There's awful signs, it doesn't look like a bell, it's like that metal pipe with like another
I know.
lead
Right.
pipe, you just bang it.
I know. Do you have any thoughts?
What-
Because I know you thought the bell might not work either last time.
I think we need something on 6.
On 6 is where I'm thinking,
Yeah.
it's 6.
I know 11 too, but I think
11 is
we
tough,
have
we've
to,
gotten hit
my
on
sergeant
11.
can do better telling people to leave their
Yeah.
cart up on top. You know, it's self-police, like.
Mike,
It's
can you
hard
mute your
to-
phone?
we're
Michael
walkers.
Feinstein,
Yeah.
can you mute your phone?
Because if
I
we're
can- Or
walkers.
your dog.
we
It's
don't
hard, 'cause
know.
you gotta, yeah, it's hard.
Sometimes I've had
I'm not
people
against the bell,
stay
but-
up top, so, because we know
That's what
they'll.
we want, yeah, that's.
Right,
The
but
be- the
now,
people that have been in Smith a long time know on 6 to leave someone up on top.
right,
And you just
But-
wait until the cart, until you see the cart.
Yeah, but it's hard for people who don't
inevitably,
know it.
if you hit a drive over the hill, right, you go down to the bottom of the hill, because I'm always over the hill, and you go down to the bottom of the hill, inevitably, the balls are flying, right, inevitably. Doesn't matter because people don't always know or whatever. So I will say that is, to me, the biggest issue in terms of that question, visibility.
right, but 11 also, and now that we're hitting further down on 11, it's harder to leave somebody up top because we don't drive, and so then it kind of slows things down in that respect. I mean, 18, we don't usually tee off 18 until we see them walk up that second hill.
Yeah, sometimes we walk
Well, we
down
see
and
that.
wait and then tell everyone to go, because
Yeah.
it's the only way we know.
But that would be, yeah. So, I think we do need to work on that though a little bit.
Duly noted.
Yeah, let's think about that. Maybe, Bob, you and I can kind of talk a little bit about what would be a good
Yeah.
solution and where to put them, and then how to communicate that. Because,
Yeah,
again, if they're used, I get
right,
it.
that's a good point.
So you have to kind of highlight it, I think, at the
On the
beginning,
tee.
right, on the beginning of the whole.
It's gotta be part of the
front.
starter.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the
And then-
starter.
And then, right, I think somewhere when
I
you're,
mean, I can put it on the cart, it can pop up when they get to the 6th tee.
please use bell or
Yeah,
something.
little ding dong.
Yeah, sometimes, the guys, fells over here.
Well, it's never gonna be
Fell on the
perfect,
left,
but it
fell
will
on the right.
eliminate some of
And the
it.
guys are all
Right.
over to the right, they don't wanna walk out, if they're walking, they don't wanna walk all the way over there, ring the bell.
Right, because the bell is on.
Could the
one side.
GPS and the carts be used somehow?
That's what Bob was just
Yes,
saying,
I can
yeah.
definitely set that up to, even without a bell, start putting a warning on there, please make sure.
Our GPSs don't show.
But even like
No,
the
but it
GPS
just
to
be
know
a-
that there's no carts ahead.
Oh, I
You know,
know,
like, it's almost
it does-
like
it only shows your
You
cart.
want the GPS to kind of detect if there's nothing up
Maybe
there.
it's a setting, I can,
I've never seen that.
let me look at that.
Yeah,
Okay,
so like,
but now I have a question for you.
That's if you're walkers. Yeah, if
Percentage
you're
of
walkers.
golfers at Smith take carts?
Yeah.
I've been asked many times, so if you take that number that's on there that says 36,000, and
Uh-huh.
we divide it by number of rounds, you know, you could back into a rough estimate.
Okay,
right.
would you, I mean, do you have a,
I'm sure, I would say it's above 50%.
is it
Yeah, I was
really?
gonna say that.
Is it really that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But weekend guys walk, weekends got a walking culture, but the rest of the week, the buggies go out.
Okay.
What's the big question, then? Sorry, I'm with you.
No, don't you dare.
Just throwing it
But I
out
would
there.
say, I can figure out that mix. I'm sure.
Yeah, because I don't know how many, I mean, if
I think a good bit.
40% of
You're
the
right.
golfers are walking, it's not,
Yeah, you're right. We can put everything we want in the cart, but if 40%
Right.
are walking, there's 40% that aren't seeing it.
right.
Yeah, but still, it still helps.
It still helps.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it gets 60%. Yeah, I hear that. I think it's worth, continuing that conversation, because I agree
Right.
that those are problem areas, particularly now with the new tees too. It's
Mhm.
probably a good time to do it.
Right.
If we're gonna implement it.
I'll put a chime on those holes and make sure the area is clear.
If we do 3 bells, there's gonna be bells all
No,
over.
no.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be, no, I meant like 3
Church
different
bells.
holes.
That next goes down the line.
That might be a lot of bells, but,
We just have to train that hawk that's above there and just have them to come swoop down.
That's right.
Sorry, you can't
Block
get it
it.
yet.
Take your
Yeah. All
All
right,
right.
well, thank you, yeah.
yeah, let's continue.
But
to talk
besides
about
that, it's, the course is in great shape.
Yep.
Looks good. And I went up to the driving range today to hit balls, and I can't wait for all that new stuff to come in. That'd be wonderful.
I haven't seen the
But-
maps yet, I gotta get to see the maps.
Yeah.
Hurry up before they get worn out again.
I
Yeah.
can see an increase for sure.
Oh, already?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was packed today.
Yeah, we were gonna crush it if the rain didn't come.
Once that new ball machine,
I think that'll, for
It's
me,
there,
it's
it just has
gonna make
to-
it more efficient.
Yep.
It's gonna make the hours longer.
Yep.
We're gonna raise our prices a little.
I think a few phone calls about why the range closed at 6:15.
Yeah, so what are you gonna do then with the hours? I mean,
Well,
So I don't think the range should close.
24.
Yeah.
Does the town dictate that as far as for the neighbors and everything else up
Well, I
there?
mean, it's only, no one can hit in the dark, so
Yeah,
it's.
so the
Right.
lights won't be on,
No,
right?
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still,
And the softball players over
there's
there.
guys who wanna go
anyway.
before work.
Right, that's true too.
There's guys who wanna come late.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Are there
Yeah.
lights on the softball field?
It'll be,
Not yet.
People will be
not
going
yet.
till 8 o'clock, 8:30.
I think so too. I think it's gonna, be good.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
the
I
wheel
think the
posts are
efficiency,
5
I
or
think
something,
the
right?
efficiency is gonna be
Yeah,
good.
they're like really, really early.
The only thing I worry about,
No, the wheel posts, they're range super early.
and
My husband, well, unless he blinds me.
He could be hitting it. He could be hitting
He's
it.
there now.
He could be hitting it.
It's been closed for an hour.
I know, all right, I'll get a text.
Christine's gonna be tonight.
you know,
He's definitely not.
not to play devil's advocate, but the only thing I worry about, the later we open the range for, will we have to worry about drinking on the range and people bringing beers and then,
What's going on now?
it is even during the day?
I mean, I live up there.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of action going on.
Okay.
there. And I'm not gonna go.
You mean
fully-
post-range hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at least now, there is somebody sitting in there,
We
right?
still have an attendant.
We have an
Oh,
attendant.
yeah,
Oh,
so
so, yeah.
we're gonna
Even
keep
with
it
the
on.
automated
Oh,
call.
Yeah,
okay.
we're gonna keep it, we're not, it's
Okay.
not gonna be.
Okay.
No, but we should still be able, I think the revenue's gonna go up. I
Oh,
believe it in my heart.
absolutely.
Yeah, you'll just sell more.
When's the sunset in July? June?
Yeah, 8 to 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock,
Get
right.
it off to 9. Easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's a sunset, that would be good. And the easier it is to buy them, the easier it is to, I mean, like, it'll just be better. You know,
I think
having
it's gonna
it-
be good.
It's just been one time a week when we need to cut it, we need the balls off.
Yeah, we got that.
Do you know, is it just credit card or is there an Apple Pay?
It's gonna take everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except
Wonderful.
cash.
No cash.
No cash, good.
But yeah, that's
Which
great.
is odd, that we've trained people for how many years up there, cash
Exactly right.
only.
I always think that.
So that's why I'm gonna have to have an attendant there for a few months. Listen, you know what I mean, there's gonna be a little transition there, because it was the only place that only took cash, and now
Right.
it's gonna take a little bit of a learning curve, but.
What's, are you changing the price and the number?
I don't think we should change the price until we get if we get the top tracer up there, but eventually we're gonna have
I
to
thought
charge
you
more.
said, I thought you said.
That I meant down the road when we
Oh,
go
yeah.
there.
How many balls will be,
Right now, you get $6 for 42 balls.
Yeah, it will be a lot, ballpark the same? Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to talk about it when we get there.
Yeah.
Interesting, on the sidebar, I played in a tournament with a guy who just put in top tracer and covered the tees at Stanley Golf Course
Yeah,
in New Britain, and they were up 150%.
Wow,
He says they got
Which
them
is
three
cool.
deep
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
day, every day.
wow.
3 deep,
All day, every day.
just waiting in line, huh?
With 120 young kids.
Same number of dogs, too. They did the exact same project.
Really?
I saw it, it's beautiful. Came out beautiful. They got people, he's got like people bringing appetizers and wine, because there's, there's
Yeah.
picnic tables and stuff
Wow.
behind, and they're playing with the,
Like top
Right.
golf, what they're doing.
it's your own
Yeah,
version of
Date
it.
night out there, yeah.
All right.
So,
All
we'll
right.
have to think about ball pricing once we get there.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
I asked him what he was, where he was calling.
Yeah.
Compared to speaking, other places that use Top Tracer, they're getting like $20 for 75 balls, something like that. I mean, we don't need to
Yeah,
go
that's
there
really
at all, but I mean, 10 for 60.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be,
That's what I can't remember which.
Oh, Shelton's the same.
that's the way I'm talking, it's
Shelton's really expensive. Every time I go to Shelton, I'm like,
Like a regular
it's beat up too.
the ball.
Is it, I've
And
been
The ball's
there.
big, the
Everything
tracer doesn't even work.
Massive destroyed, the balls are beat up.
Really?
I've
Yeah.
never been there.
It's like even the range, which is a bad look, like, it's like dead, like the grass, you know?
Really?
Yeah,
Like the weird
I've
stuff.
been
there
And the
for
tracer
years.
doesn't work very well either.
yeah.
Anyway.
Everybody said the technology so far has been easy to manage.
Good.
All right.
Excellent.
All right, par three. Mike or Liam, anything you want to talk about the par three?
I have information from 2 anecdotal rounds, which is my daughter and her out-of-town boyfriend came in, and they played twice in the last 2 weeks, and they said it looked great. So I didn't need it there last month, but not this month yet. So I just gave you a little color from a couple people playing.
All right.
I played there about maybe 2 weeks ago, and I thought it looked great. Also, I thought greens were in really nice condition. I thought everything looked good. No, really no complaints, no issues at all. Sorry about that phone, guys.
Mike, how was the pace of play for you?
Oh, it was fine. I mean, I was there. I work really close to there, so actually I went with someone during the week. It was probably mid-afternoon. It was totally fine. It wasn't too crowded, but we flew through. It was fine when I was there.
Yeah.
Are you hearing complaints about lack of pace of play?
That's the only thing I always pay attention to, because sometimes you can get a lot of people and big groups and kind of moves a little slow sometimes.
I've never experienced that personally. I mean, I don't go there all that much, but I've never experienced it.
All right. Yeah, I have. I mean, because you have a lot of beginner golfers too, like beginner by like.
Yeah.
Never held a golf club, and so it can
Yeah.
just move slow sometimes. Which is what it's there. That's the point of the course.
Yeah,
I
just say like Bob has said in the past, which I agree with. If we can start to cut some of that stuff back on, around the third tee, that would be that would be nice. That would be helpful.
Yeah, both of those. Yeah, around that pond.
14.
Yeah,
14.
If it's possible.
Drill it into that bush.
it's right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Drill it in there, and they drill it in there, and they drill it in there.
Got What's the next one? The fifth, too.
Fifth is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, you're putting
Fifth is
the
a great
pin
golf.
over
It's a great golf.
over water. Yeah.
It's a great golf. You got to aim left. Probably
Yeah,
there's a
you gotta
tee
aim
over there.
Yep.
That
There
is
is
a
sand,
hit zone
yeah.
right there. I mean,
Absolutely.
how many times do you hear four?
You got to stay loose on that.
I mean, it is a lot. Right,
Yeah.
head on the swivel.
You gotta
Because you're
stay loose.
aiming, you're literally aiming for where they're
Yeah.
standing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, see that person there?
Especially for the level of play you have down there.
Right.
Yeah.
Not many.
They can't clear it. No,
They
they
don't
just
knock
can't
it
clear
on
it.
that green very often. That's why it bogs down there too, because 4 is
Yeah.
long and 5 is hard.
Yeah, good point. Okay, good. All right, no other old business, new business?
I have some new business, and I've started to see the effects of Boca and their events
Yeah,
during the day. We've finished a couple of times when there was an event coming in, and literally you can't get a parking space. I've seen people park illegally all over the place. I saw a couple people on the road. I'm concerned about that. I'm also concerned that there was twice now that they've closed at night for events. So
close what?
the restaurant,
The bar?
7:00 Friday, was it this past Friday? It said we will be closing at 7:15.
Everything?
Due to an event. That's what the sign said. The Saturday before, my husband and I were going to go eat after golf, and it said, and we went out late, so we weren't going to finish until like 8:00, and it said 8:15, or 8:00. We're closing for an event. So that's my only concern.
Yeah, that happened, I don't think it was, I can't remember when it was, and I noticed it one time. I raised it to Anthony. I talked to Yanni about it. They have to have one side of the restaurant open for public, golfers plus public, right? Just for public. Anthony talked to Yanni about can't do that. So,
Right, so I think he needs to be
yeah, he needs to do that
spoken
again.
to again, because, yeah.
So you didn't look in to see if the bar part was open or not?
When we were gonna eat,
Yeah.
the hostess said, no, we were
Okay, closed, oh, she
closed.
turned you away.
On Friday, it was just the sign there
Yeah,
that
yeah,
said we
yeah.
were closing at 7:15. I
Yeah, it
didn't,
just says, yeah.
yeah,
Even if it was open, then.
right,
turned
it
you
didn't
away
say
anyway.
anything, right,
Yeah.
right, so.
And contractually, this is in their contract,
Yeah,
that they have
that's
to
my
be
question.
open, right?
Well, that's why I wasn't sure about,
It reads that at sunset, they can,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, is
It
it
does.
sunset or is it?
sunset.
it
Um,
says say sunset.
I thought it was until last golfer, was it?
I don't know, but
I can double check
that's
it.
what they've told me when
But I don't,
I asked.
all right,
any
so,
question.
okay, so if we're getting into a lease interpretation question, that's fine, we can go look at
Yeah,
that, but, I'd have to go back and look, I still thought it said they have to, it has to be available.
I honestly don't.
Because regardless of the
No, I
golf,
want to get in the
that
middle
it,
of it.
right.
Right, no, and,
But
yeah,
I'll let Anthony and James Baldwin
Yeah.
deal with the lease interpretation question.
Right.
I mean, that's,
Because when Yanni was here talking to us, he told us that he always makes sure that
Correct.
there's some place for everyone
That's what he
to
always
go.
says.
So obviously, there's a little bit of miscommunication.
yeah,
We'll call it that.
we'll call it miscommunication.
And the parking we knew
I
when we
know.
opened.
I was happy to see that
We
the
striped-
lines were drawn,
We striped it, because
Yeah,
I knew we had a double thing going on that day, so,
because I actually wrote that in my notes, and then when I
yeah.
came out and played this last time, I saw the
It
stripes were
helped
there.
alleviate some of it, but.
Well, yeah,
they
because
were
the
everywhere.
cars were parking parallel,
Well, yeah, it worked.
Yeah,
But that got us
exactly.
another,
Like that, if
it got us
Yeah.
35 more spots. when
Yeah,
we
which
drew-
was
when
great.
we drew the paint, good,
but it's like,
which is a lot.
Wow.
Those islands take up a lot of room there too, but I
Yeah,
guess.
the islands kill it, to be honest with you. I know they are there, but like, the islands take up,
Yeah.
I mean, a large percentage of spots.
Yep.
I mean, frankly, just the layout of the parking lot itself, with like the way you drive up and you have all that sort of thing.
Non-usable space,
Yeah.
yeah.
right,
Not that I'm saying that there's a better way to do it, because I'm sure that was intentional for drainage and a lot of things, but it's an awkward setup.
and there's no place to steal any more
There's no,
spots.
I always look at that too, when
Yeah.
I go up there, I'm like, where could you put,
Right,
you have to eat into a hole. I mean, you have to eat into a hole somewhere. And it's, that green, I mean, maybe, but like, you won't do that.
no, you can't do that.
No. Those cars are already in the line of fire over there.
Right.
That's it,
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you. We've talked about doing valet type things for events. I just don't know where you put the cars anyway.
Right, what's the nearest parking lot?
Where you
that
put them
we
at the
can't?
range?
The
Right,
range.
Literally at the range.
And if there's a softball thing going on.
there aren't that many spots up at the range,
I know.
and
You do on the other side and the softball side, which you go
Right.
out in the dirt, but none of those are
But on
That's gonna be a
weekends,
problem eventually.
So we're gonna have to
Yeah.
go.
on weekends, that, the softball field is being used, I think,
Well,
all day, right, Peter? For the
Yeah.
most part, there are games all day there, so,
Opening day is atrocious up there.
yeah.
Oh, opening day, forget opening day, yeah, it's like, they're all down the road, Hoyden's is just
Parking in my
lined.
driveway.
That's what I mean, like, Hoyden's on both sides.
Yeah, sell spots.
Yeah,
All right.
the parking is a problem, I don't. I
But
don't
we
have an
knew
answer.
this going into it,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have an answer, other than really being aware of when they're gonna have an event, when, if it's a beautiful sunny day, golfers are active.
Yeah, what was it, Sunday? There was a line of girls out the door into the parking lot. I don't know what event was there.
Prom pictures?
I don't know what the event
No.
was, there was a lot of girls.
Lot of, like, literally, they were lined up into the parking lot.
Huh.
Yeah, trying to get in. I think we finished, I don't remember what time we finished, noon or something like that, yeah.
We
No,
had a busy
11:30, yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Well, the restaurant was definitely open that day, because
Yeah.
the men's had the event there too, so
Right.
they were outside pretty much on this side, and the bar was open to them, and they had it walled off for that event.
Yeah, and that's what I
I think where you're getting in that gray area is in the evenings, their interpretation of
yeah, I will look into that.
that's the only time I've ever seen it fully closed like that. I think they think they're okay. You know what I mean?
Later.
Yeah. I think that's how they're.
Well, again, one was at 8, one was at 7:15, I think they said.
All right. Yeah, and that's really, unfortunately, that's the town. I gotta get the town to, I mean, that's, yeah, we'll look at that. Any,
Mhm.
I didn't get any communications.
I did not. Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right. Anybody here? Sure, just say your name, address.
Sure. Frank Sahagian, 20 Chelsea Street, Fairfield. So I took an email last night for the subject meeting was here today, and apparently I guess you guys can see it. I played yesterday. I had at 1 o'clock, 1:30 tee time. Got there at 1 o'clock. You kind of glossed over the parking. The parking is insane. Okay. To have events on a Saturday or a Sunday, to allow that, I don't know where the restrictions come or do not come, but to allow events on Saturday and Sunday during mid-afternoon is insanity. Not only are you risking, by the way, the parking yesterday, I took pictures, I sent you guys pictures, because it was just so funny. People were parking, you have to see where people were parking yesterday. You would have to really see it to believe it. And I will add, you guys are risking now fire. If you had an emergency there yesterday, there's no way a fire truck could have gotten in it. That's how crazy the parking was yesterday. So the question I have, are we a public golf course or are we a banquet? Is this a banquet event? Is this for banquets or is this for a public?
Well, remember they have a lease, right? So they have a lease, and the lease provides them certain rights. We can tell them now that we don't like those rights, and they're going to say we have a lease. So
do they have a right to have a banquet anytime they want?
So again, we're going to take a look and see what yes, they have the right to, as long as the restaurant is open to the golfers, they have the right to close sections of it for events. And that's why they bid the highest, right? Again, we went out to the market, we got 3 bids. Every single bidder is interested in the event capacity of that space, period. So we have to acknowledge why we have a tenant in there right now paying us rent, because of the event space. And so to say to somebody, hey, we want you to come and operate here, but you cannot have events, that changes who is interested in that space. So,
well, we have created a monster.
Agreed.
Okay, we have created a
monster.
monster. We've created a banquet hall, not a public golf course.
Yeah,
That's what
I was
we
there
created.
yesterday.
And this is the commission that is established, that is given that, or I guess, I don't know who's given them the right, where those negotiations came. I get it, that we get more money, but we are now a banquet hall before we're a public golf course. On a Saturday or a Sunday, to not be able to get a parking space at all. When I say at all, look at the pictures I sent. People were parking, they were jutting out because there was nowhere to park.
Right.
Yeah. And I would also argue, and I would question how many people were in that facility yesterday. I would suspect it was overcapacity.
Yeah, what is the capacity?
I don't know what it was,
So
but
we
I
have
would
a
have bet it was a
license.
fire violation.
Every restaurant has a license for capacity.
It's got a sign there, I don't know, I think
Whatever it
it's
is.
I
176.
will bet it was packed to the
But
gills.
it might be the way
And
he
to
handles
have it
parking
packed to the
issues.
gills on a
He
Sunday
has to
is
stick to it.
insanity. It's not fair. It's not fair to the public and to the golfers. It really isn't. I mean, it was. I mean, imagine you get in there. I'm getting at 1 o'clock for a 1:30 tee time, and I mean, you talked about not only on the grass, on the islands, on jutting into the lane.
Right.
I mean, it was a fire. It was a fire hazard. If you had a fire truck that had to get there yesterday, they could not have gotten in because of the way people had to park to play golf.
Bob, was that the worst you've ever seen it?
I'd like to say no.
But you have seen it before?
It's whenever we're at a capacity, even if we have a big outing where we have 144 players there, I think the parking lot is just small.
That's twice now in the last month where he had an event on a weekend, on a Sunday, where he had that same.
Remember, they're allowed to do that, just to be clear.
I know, it's.
I know that people don't like it, but
Yeah.
that is.
Well,
the
when
deal.
does that all come up, and is that something that
Oh,
can be
it's
ruled?
a 7-year lease, I think.
7 years,
Yeah,
so golfers have to live with this for 7 years.
Yeah. The question though about trying to address the issue, sure, we can certainly address it, but remember, there is a tenant in there who has rights under their lease, and we can't just change that.
I get it. We created a monster.
So,
That's what we did. We created a banquet hall, which, by the way, has a golf course next to it.
well, what would you have done with the building that had a banquet hall in it?
Well, no,
Not
I'm
allowed
saying,
use
what
it.
would I have done with the building? I would have had a restaurant that was more conducive to golfers, even though we may not have generated
So
much
the
income
building,
for the
right,
town,
yeah.
But you know what? It's a golf course. It's a public golf course. It's not that's what it is. It's a public golf course, and it could have gone on fine, as most golfers would say. They would love to have, you know, we don't need a fancy restaurant. I know it brings more money to the town, but you know what? It's a public golf course, and I think it's an embarrassment.
It's an amenity for the town.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't wanna
change
go into that, but.
All right, anybody else?
Brian Daly, 195 Birch Street. Is the, I assume the lease is a public document?
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Can we find it somewhere?
Absolutely. Yeah, let me see if they're comfortable with me just circulating. I'm happy to just send it to
I hear
you.
all sorts of stories. I hear it's a 3-year lease, right? You said it's 7. Yeah, I hear people tell me, oh, they need to get permission from the golf commission to have an event. So everyone, like, interprets things. And every time people ask me, I say, have you seen the lease?
Yeah.
Show it to me in the lease. So that might help, right? If we.
Did you check the website, is it not on there?
I haven't
looked for it.
I don't know.
I think
It's public record.
Website.
Yeah, and again,
You can
remember,
write it, but it's not.
remember, just to be clear, the golf commission was involved with the selection of the tenant, not the negotiation, operation, enforcement of the lease, right? That is the town, that is outside of our purview. We are a policy-making commission, right? We are not day-to-day operation. We don't enforce a lease. We don't enforce the building code or the, like, you know, that's not us. Now, we can certainly get involved and help and communicate that, but that is a town issue, just like it is with every other lease that they have in town, right? The town has a lot of leases, right? And that is the town's role. They have an entire department designed to manage and oversee their leases of town property.
Nor were we involved with the building of the building.
No, right, that's even more, the banquet hall within the building, right? I mean, that was the point of that building, to be honest with you, was to have events, just so you know. That was the point of that space. So, to then say we can't have events in a building that was built for events, you know.
But there are no restrictions when they can.
No,
Nothing in the lease that says that.
Right. I haven't seen the lease, right? So that's why I think it's good for people to look at the lease. And, you know, this commission deals with stuff that's handed to them, right? So it's not, they didn't create this, right?
Yeah.
They didn't create the building, so they have to deal with it. So, but you know, you hear all these things that people tell you, and I'm like, well, is that true? Yeah, it's in the lease. Well, then show me the lease. I've never seen the lease.
Well, the lease, I mean, you can certainly get it through a FOIA. The question is whether I can just circulate it, and that's what I need to ask Paul.
Yeah, like I'm able to see something like the minutes of Prudaz.
Yeah,
You're able to see
of course.
that. You're able to see some stuff.
Let me ask the town attorney.
I'll take another
if
look
I can.
to your point, Peter, but I haven't really searched for it, right? So,
I guess
but
it's probably not there.
I'll try to find it. Yeah. But it would be good if we
The
publicized
building
it,
committee minutes are
and
also
people could look at it.
online.
Yeah. The building committee minutes are
Yeah,
online.
the building committee minutes, yeah, because I took those too.
Okay.
Those are online as well, you can look it up. You can look,
Do you think the lease is in that?
well, I don't know if the lease is there, but all the
think it
discussions
was
about.
legal.
No, I don't think the lease would be there.
No,
But the have our public.
the discussions about stuff.
Again, they certainly do FOIA. Whether the town wants to just ship them out, I don't know. I mean,
Commission.
But we have as much access as anyone else.
I can ask. I mean, I certainly have a copy of it. The question is whether I can just send an
You
email.
wondered if you would think about if you could do a valet parking situation where, you know, they stack cars and that you have to valet.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But
If they
where
have
do
an
you
That,
valet?
but see, if you do valet, you can pack cars, you don't have to space.
I mean, pardon.
So
Right,
like,
but where would you valet?
they could.
Dedicated area on the parking lot for valet.
And you can
could
pack
double the number
cars,
of
one
cars.
on top of the other with no room. So if your car's here to get it out, you know, 4 cars have to move, but that's what valets do, like in cities.
Yeah.
And it's maybe something to look at.
But I would rather, I don't know, I would be reticent to have the golfers have to valet. I think the
Well, no, it
valet.
wouldn't go for the bulk of
It would just be-
Yeah, okay, yeah. But then but they're still gonna take up the spaces, because when you have the golfers on the course, and if every tee time is filled, that parking lot's gonna be filled
It's full.
just with that, right.
Right.
So the fact that that won't leave space for valet parking for events, we need to get those off-site somehow.
Yeah.
But this is something we're gonna have to, I think, look into and see again.
We've had parking issues
Before, yeah.
and parking issues post, right? I mean, we have parking issues.
But I do think that place has become, he's doing a better job, he's becoming well-known, and he's booking more events, because he's doing his job. And
So it was a good space.
right, this is all May, it's all graduations, it's Fairfield Youth graduating, high school's graduating, proms. And he's now, people are rebooking him.
Yeah, it's a successful operation, and what we're learning is it's creating some.
Yeah, hardship for the residents of the town, because they wanna go play golf and they can't park, right? So we'll have to look into it, try to come up with something.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, what the town is gonna say is make it work on both, right? I mean, the town is not interested in saying, okay, we'll just tell them they can't have events.
But if you tell the town you have a fire hazard, then what?
Well, we do.
But you don't know that there's a fire hazard.
You don't know. I'm suggesting that you look into it, because I'm suggesting you have a fire hazard, and now that this is public comment that you might have a fire hazard, and you guys don't do something about it, well, no, if something's not done about it, understand that that you're putting the town liable, right?
No, but thank you.
No, we're not putting the town liable?
Because some personal opinion, there's a fire hazard, I don't have it on it,
but
town is not
if
liable.
it's been brought to the attention that there may be, and nothing is done, nothing is looked at, and the next time we have an event, to go look at it and say, hey, do we have a fire?
Yeah, no, I agree that we're gonna have, I think there's a lot of things we have to look at, in terms of finding a way to improve the parking situation. And I wanna be clear, I don't know what that solution is right now. And I think looking at the capacity of the restaurant, I think that's one of the ways too, is just to make sure that that's enforced heavily to reduce the number of cars that are just there. I think that's gonna be, again, I've never been in Boca where I think they've had a capacity number. I don't know if you guys are. That building is huge. It can handle a lot of
It was
people.
filled to the brim yesterday. It was
Well,
hardly-
they have
can't fit
outside,
100 people
and they
in
have
there.
outside
It was
seating.
filled to the
They
brim.
could
Right, with the
We
outside
had-
seating?
We had over.
How many do you have for your thing?
Yeah,
Yes,
for our
they-
annual meeting, we had over 200.
I wonder what I don't even know what the capacity is, but it's probably
It was
300.
crowded though, we probably.
200 is
We
tight.
probably pushed it.
Yeah,
right?
200 is tight.
But we had over.
I look at that number every day and I can't do it.
I think it's
I see it every time I walk in
It's
the building.
176.
I think it's 93, 193, but I don't know. I'll know tomorrow.
Yeah, not 93.
Well, no,
But the problem is,
When
if
you
Boca
get,
has
when
a
you get
lease
the
that's
summer, like we
solid,
had in the winter, right?
and then
You
they
get the
say,
summer,
well,
people
you
on
have to
the
give us
patio.
parking, we'll have to stop
There's
people.
100 people on the patio too.
Sure.
Well, I don't think it says that we have to provide them, I think they just lease the space, and have access to the parking, period.
Okay.
I don't think it guarantees them a certain number of parking spaces, we would never have guaranteed. Again, we didn't negotiate it, but, I don't expect the lease to say they have access to X number of parking spaces for their use. I expect it to say they have the right to use the parking in common with all the other users at the space.
Right.
Which is what's happening right now. Unfortunately, they're just using more spaces than we ever anticipated.
The closest place that people could park and shuttle from is the commuter lot next to the Marriott.
Yeah.
That's the closest place.
Yeah.
That's open with lots
I
of
think
parking.
you're right.
I mean, the range.
Valet is a better solution.
The valet is
Valet.
always
You
good.
get,
But who's
just
paying
give him
for
a couple
it?
cars
Well,
for his guys to run up and get
That's
the
what I'm
car.
saying.
They drop the car off,
rolling it through.
one guy rides up, for the valet, run golf carts to the range.
But there's not,
Oh, at that time,
right, at that,
there's something possible there.
right. I mean, do we need to?
I like that solution, but again, we have to figure out cost,
And during the middle of the day,
Right.
there's not many spots up there.
And finding people to do it. I mean, it's so hard to get staff right now to do things like that.
The town gonna want a private.
About 50 years ago, they talked about getting rid of the ninth green and making 9 a par 4, and making that all parking over there, but I don't see that happening.
Well,
Did they
that would
really?
solve a lot of problems.
I was thinking the other one, I was thinking 5,
But
but
9.
actually, that's the better
How many
location there.
spaces do
That's
they
really
need?
nice.
I hate that turn too, because you can't reach it.
But all those cars are gonna hit with it.
Bob, what do you think about that?
Well, I think we're all in agreement.
We gotta address it.
We're all
I
in
think it got
agreement.
better when we
I think
cut
we're
those trees
all
down,
on
and
the
it's
same
getting better.
page as far as that. Parking is an issue. I saw it yesterday.
More to go.
All right, so this has to be
All right, so
important
this is
item
a-
on
yeah.
our agenda.
Yeah, I'll follow up.
I think it's definitely something we need to.
I want to see what the ability is to circulate the lease. I got to talk to Anthony and Jim Baldwin about what their rights are to have events and close the entire restaurant. Because if Yanni believes he can close the restaurant after a certain time period, I don't think that's what it says. But again, I have not looked at it for probably a year and a half on that.
And then let's look at the capacity, just so we understand it,
Right.
in the restaurant, like what does it say?
Again, we're getting ahead of, that's not golf commission at all, but.
Right.
Oh, right, that's the
Yeah,
lease, that's not ours.
that's nothing to
You're
do
right,
with
Right.
you're right.
Right. If we called somebody about, they would say, thank you, we'll take it from here, you know?
You're right.
And I'm happy to do that, but again, they
Well,
would
we
say,
could just go and look ourselves if we wanted.
right, right. Okay, anything else? All right, thank you. I will take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, second?
Second. All right. Thank you, everybody.